Everything available in our environment which can be used to satisfy our needs provided it is technologically accessible, economically feasible and culturally acceptable can be termed as a resource. Coal, water, mineral, etc. are the examples of resource. What is the role of humans in resource development? Human beings interact with the nature through technology and create institutions to accelerate their economic development. Human beings also transfer the material available in our environment into the resource and use them. On the basis of origin, the resources can be classified into biotic and abiotic resources. Biotic resources which derive from the living organisms like plants, animals. Abiotic resources which derive from the non-living organisms like the inorganic material. Abiotic resources are the resources which are composed of non-living things like the rock, minerals, air, water, etc. All the resources up to 12 nautical miles, which is equal to 19.2 km from the coast, are termed as the national resources. So, as per the question, a gas reserve has been discovered in an ocean. The reserve is 19 km from the coast of the nation, will be considered as a national resource. Mahatma Gandhi said that there is enough for everybody's needs, but not for everybody's greed. It is important to use the available land for various purposes with careful planning because land is an asset of a finite magnitude. On the basis of exhaustibility, resources are divided into two types, renewable resources and the non-renewable resources. Materials which have high potential to satisfy human needs but the human beings do not have the appropriate technology for utilizing it are called stock. Two states of India which are well endowed with solar energy are Gujarat and Rajasthan. Total geographical area of India is 3.28 million square kilometer. It is the seventh largest country in the world. The dynamic relationship between nature, technology and institution. As nature contains resources, these resources are converted into usable form with the help of technology. Human beings interact with nature through technology and create institutions to accelerate their economic development. India is rich in certain types of resources but deficient in some other resources as the state of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh are rich in minerals but lack industrialization. Arunachal Pradesh has an abundance of water resources but lack infrastructure development. The state of Rajasthan is well endowed with the solar and wind energy but lacks water resources. The cold desert area of Ladakh is relatively isolated from the rest of the country due to the lack of transportation and communication. Most of northeastern states are rich in natural vegetation but lack fertile soil. Necessary conditions for the development of resources. Resources can contribute to the development only when they are accompanied by appropriate technological development and institutional changes. There is a need of quality of human resources, skilled workers who can convert natural resources into more usable form. There is also a need of capital which is required to develop technology. Planning of resources is very important for a country like India as India has enormous diversity in availability of resources. There are many regions which are rich in certain types of resources but deficient in some other resources. The states of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh are rich in minerals and coal deposit but lack of infrastructural development. The state of Haryana and Punjab, Uttar Pradesh are rich in the soil but lack minerals. Reserves are subset of stock which can be put into use with the help of existing technical know-how but their use has not been started. These can be used for meeting future requirements. River water can be used for generating hydroelectric power but presently it is being utilized only to a limited extent. Thus the water in the dams, forests, etc. is a reserve which can be used in future. Stocks are the material in the environment which has the potential to satisfy human needs but could not be used as the human beings do not have appropriate technology to convert them into usable form. For example, water is a compound of two inflammable gases, hydrogen and oxygen, but human beings do not have the required technology to use them as a source of energy. Developed resources are the resources which have been surveyed and their quality and quantity have been determined for utilization. The development of resources depends on the technology and the level of feasibility. For example, in India, the cumulative total of 2,47,847 million tons of coal resources and India has 4,600 million barrels of petroleum, oil and gases primarily in Mumbai High and Assam. Potential resources are the resources which are found in a region but have not been utilized due to lack of capital, technology and other reasons. For example, the western part of India, particularly Rajasthan and Gujarat, have enormous potential for the development of wind and solar energy, but so far these have not been developed properly. Community resources are the resources which are accessible to all members of the community like the village pond, public park, playground, etc. National resources are the resources which are under the control of state or union government. All the resources within the political boundaries are the national resources because the government has the power to acquire even private property. For example, Indian Railway, Bhakra Dam. Resources which are owned by private individuals are known as individual resources. Plot, field, house, car, book, etc. are the example of individual resources. Non-renewable resources are the resources that formed over millions of years during geological time. They can be recyclable, for example, metals like gold and iron, and non-recyclable like fossil fuels, coal and petroleum. Renewable resources are the natural resources that can be renewed or reproduced by physical, chemical, and mechanical processes. They are also known as replenishable resources. For example, solar energy, wind energy, water, forest, and wildlife. The role of humans in resource development. Resources are a function of human activities. Human actions and ingenuity turn natural substances into valuable resources. Humans interact with nature through technology and institution. We use technology and create organization to accelerate economic growth. Humans transform materials from the environment into the resources. We convert available materials into usable resource. For example, river. A river's water become a resource when used for irrigation and power production. The ways to classify resources. On the basis of origin, resources may be biotic and abiotic. On the basis of exhaustibility, resources may be renewable and non-renewable. On the basis of ownership, resources may be individual, community, national, and international. On the basis of state of development, resources may be potential, developed, and stock. What is the importance of natural resources? Why is it necessary to conserve them? Resources are important for the development of any country. For example, fossil fuels are essential to generate energy. Mineral resources are important for industrial development. It is necessary to conserve resources because their irrational consumption and overutilization have led to socio-economic and environmental problems. It takes millions of years for the formation of natural resources. Natural resources are available in fixed quantity and they are non-renewable. Red soil is the soil which develops on the crystalline igneous rocks. Why black soil is tilled immediately after the first shower? These soils are sticky when wet, difficult to work on it. Why is black soil tilled immediately after the first shower? The black soil rich in clay becomes very sticky and plastic when wet. The solution to this problem is that to till immediately. Tilling right after the rain breaks the sticky clods into the fine clumpy tilled before they are dry and hardened. This creates ideal condition for planting. Black soil is rich in iron and magnesium and poor in phosphoric content. Black soil is made up of extremely fine clayey material. That's why black soil is well known for its capacity to hold moisture. Black soil is also called rigor soil, rich in clay, iron and lime. Black soil retains water, perfect for cotton. Alluvial soil is fertile and good for wheat. Black soil retains moisture and is ideal for cotton growth. Potash and lime are the two minerals present in alluvial soil which makes it ideal for growth of sugarcane, paddy, wheat and other cereals. The old alluvium is Bangar soil, the new alluvium is Khadar soil. The old alluvium contains conker nodules with calcium carbonates in the subsoil. The new alluvium is more fertile than the old alluvium. Alluvial soils are the transported soils. Most of the soils are derived from the sediments deposited by rivers as in Indo-Gangetic plains which include the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra. Thus the parent material of these soils is of transported origin. The two disadvantages of red soils are the soil lacks in nitrogen, organic and phosphoric acid content and is less fertile. Red soil are porous in nature and not retentive to moisture. Mention any 4 proper farming techniques which can be helpful in conservation of soil, that are strip cropping, shelter belt, counterploughing, terrace farming. Leaching is the process by which nutrients in the soil are washed away by heavy rains. Laterite soils develop due to leaching. 4 minerals in which black soil is rich are calcium carbonate, magnesium, potash and lime. Mention any 2 man-made and 2 natural factors responsible for land degradation. Man-made factors are the deforestation, overgrazing, mining. Natural factors are waterlogging, wind, running water, etc. What is strip cropping? Under strip cropping, large fields are divided into strips and different types of crops are grown on alternative strips along contours or across the prevailing direction of winds. This breaks up the force of the wind. Gully erosion takes place when running water cuts deep ravines in the absence of vegetation. This type of erosion makes soil unfit for cultivation. Mention the various forces of nature which contribute to the formation of soil. Number 1 is the change in temperature. Change in temperature causes the rocks to expand and contract, leading to cracks and breakdown. Second is action of running water. Running water erodes rocks through abrasion and carries away sediments to form soil. Third is wind. Wind carries sand particles that abrade rocks, breaking them into smaller pieces. Fourth is a glacier and decomposers. Glacier grind rocks into fine soil. Decomposers break down the organic matter, enriching the soil.
Gully erosion happens when water carves deep channels in soil, leaving it barren. This makes the land unfit for growing crops.
In strip cropping, alternating strips of different crops break the force of the wind, protecting the soil from erosion.